The Little Mermaid, Part 3. In the prince's royal residence, preparations for his wedding began, and the palace buzzed with excitement. The prince, his heart filled with joy, held Oceana's hands in his and said, "Thank you, my little friend, for bringing me so much good fortune. You can stay here with my parents as their own daughter, companion, whatever you wish. That way, we can see each other often." Oceana was heartbroken. In just a few hours, the love of her life, for whom she had sacrificed everything, was marrying a beautiful princess. And she, on the other hand, would dissolve into the sea, her existence erased forever. Yet, she had to appear joyful for the human she loved so deeply. One final sacrifice, she thought, trying to console herself, because true love meant letting go, didn't it? At least, that was what she had always heard. On the wedding day, amidst the grand celebrations, Oceana knew that these were her last moments as a human. She put on a brave face, joining in the festivities. She smiled, mingled, and danced, her movements so graceful, so enchanting, that even the bride and her family couldn't help but admire her. The prince too felt proud, his little friend sharing in this joyous occasion. As the ceremony progressed, with the prince and princess about to tie the knot and say their marriage vows, Oceana could bear it no longer. She slipped away, unnoticed, preparing to meet her fate. She cast one final lingering look at the prince, who was so happy. She silently thanked the king and queen for their kindness and hospitality, tears welling up in her eyes as she left. She sat by the shore, ready to plunge into the sea, silently crying her last cry for all that she had lost and was about to lose. As she gazed at the water, ready to take the plunge and dissolve into the sea as the witch had prophesied, she was startled to see her sisters swimming toward her. "Oh, my sisters!" she thought, overwhelmed with a mix of joy, relief, and sorrow. "Oh, Oceana!" they cried out to her, embracing her tightly. "We searched everywhere for you. How could you not trust us with what you were doing? How could you leave us like that?" They scolded her gently. "Do you have any idea how father and grandmother felt when you left? They've been heartbroken. And what about Scuttle, your trusted friend? You didn't think of telling him either? How could you be so selfish? But never mind that now. We've come to help you. We spent every moment searching for a way to break the witch's spell and get your voice back. And we found something. Something that we think will not only save your life, but it might also help you realize your dream. Every full moon, her powers weaken. She becomes as helpless as a mouse. All her evil, dark magic, her wicked spells, become powerless. Oceana, tonight is a full moon. Please try to use your voice. Just try and say something. We think it'll work. The moon is on our side, Oceana. You might be able to get your voice back. Please just say something. Please, just try." A glimmer of hope sparked in Oceana. She remembered the witch's words. "You're just in time, because after the sun rises tomorrow, you would have had to wait a whole 2 weeks before I could help you." Perhaps this was what she had meant. Taking a deep breath, Oceana tried to hum. At first, the sound was so faint it was almost lost to the wind. But then it grew louder, clearer, until they all realized that it worked. The spell had been broken. Oceana could hum again, and with it she could speak, laugh, and cry with her sisters once more. Overcome with joy, she leapt to her feet and danced with her sisters, humming and singing with all her heart. Back at the palace, the festivities were on in full swing. The bride and groom were just about to take their vows, sealing their fate in matrimony. As everyone in the ceremony sat in silence with bated breath, the prince suddenly heard it. The soft, gentle hum that had once saved his life. It was the voice he had longed to hear again, the voice he believed belonged to his bride. But it was coming from the shore, not from within the palace. His heart racing, he moved away from the ceremony and followed the sound. He had finally found the one who had saved him, the one he truly loved, and this time he would not let her slip away. When he reached the shore, he saw her, his little friend, dancing and humming by the sea, her voice the same beautiful melody that had haunted his dreams. "Why didn't you tell me sooner, my sweetheart? Why didn't you say anything?" he exclaimed, taking her into his arms. As they walked back to the palace, she explained everything to him. Her deep, unwavering love for him that had begun the moment she set eyes on him on the ship. How she had hidden behind a rock as the guards had come to take him away. How she had longed to see him after that, and all she had almost lost just to be with him. This time, the prince was speechless, overwhelmed by Oceana's unmatched love for him. As he looked at her in that moment, seeing her in a new light, no longer as just his little friend, he recognized a deep connection between them, the blossoming of new love that would remain unshakable forever. She then asked him, "What will you tell your bride?" "I can't marry anyone else," he replied. "I'll tell her the truth." But as they entered the palace, they found nothing but the dry, lifeless skin of a hideous, horrible-looking sea creature with octopus-like arms and monstrous features, lying where the bride should have been. A chilling cry echoed through the air and then faded into silence. It was then that Oceana realized the truth. The bride was none other than the witch all along, and with the spell broken, the witch had been defeated, leaving nothing but a hollow shell behind. The dark clouds that had once loomed over Oceana's and the prince's fate, over the entire sea kingdom, vanished, restoring light, love, and joy to everyone's lives. Oceana's heart swelled with relief and joy as she embraced the prince, her dream finally coming true, with the love of her life by her side. The prince too held her close, realizing how close he had come to losing her forever. The palace erupted in celebration once more, this time for the union of the prince and his true bride. Oceana was welcomed as the future queen, and the kingdom rejoiced in the end of the witch's reign of terror. The sea creatures, hearing the news, joined the festivities, singing and dancing in the waters near the shore. As the night went on, Oceana and the prince stood hand in hand, watching the stars above. The prince turned to her and said, "You were always in my heart, Oceana. Even when I didn't know it, it was you who I was searching for." Oceana smiled, her heart finally at peace. "And I would endure it all again just to be here with you," she whispered. They stood holding each other under the night sky, the moon quietly witnessing their eternal union, sealing their bond forever. Thank you for joining us on this enchanting journey through the Little Mermaid's adventures. We hope you enjoyed listening to this story as much as we loved bringing it to life for you. If you did, please consider liking this video, sharing it with family and friends, and subscribing to the Listener's Nest for more captivating content. This story is written by Hans Christian Andersen and adapted by the Listener's Nest. It was read by Zia Contractor.